How do you crack the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime? This is already sounding like a bad infomercial. We're going over that in this book review, the 10 best ideas, the Millionaire Fastlane. It's Clark from refusingtosettle.com. Let's go. Hey Refusers, so this is a really requested book by all of you, all about getting rich, cracking the code to wealth, starting a business, starting something online that pays you for years to come, something I think we're all pretty interested in on this channel, am I right? It's written by MJ DeMarco, who kind of resembles the wise, crazy uncle you never had. Like, listen kid, I'm gonna tell you how things work in the world. And he's like smoking a cigar and just going on some rants. He'll talk about cocaine and strippers, and then he'll turn around the next sentence and give you some of the best business advice you've ever heard that year. If you're someone who likes the everybody's included, everybody's invited kind of vibe, everybody gets a trophy, this is not the book for you and you want to skip this video. But if you're someone who does like the straight shooter, give it to you straight, kind of slap you over the head and call you on all your BS, this is the book for you and you'll like that tone. The first big idea: getting rich quick does exist. Yes, you heard me. You can have your cake and eat it too. What does that look like? It's the artist whose song tops the Billboard 200s instantly. It's the athlete who signs the multi-million-dollar contract overnight. He's pretty rich. The actor who gets their big payday. The entrepreneur who sells his idea, his product, his patent for millions of dollars. That happens very, very fast. Getting rich quick, large sums of money, happens all the time. Getting rich easy does not. And I love that distinction. I know it sounds very, very simple, right? Getting rich quick, getting rich easy, what's the real difference? There's a huge difference there. But some people take this mindset in, which we'll touch on later. They pursue businesses or passive income with how little work can I do to get a big result in the end, right? How do I have to have my own product? Can't someone just like do it for me? Do I have to have a website? Do I have to make content? Do I have to, like, how much do I have to do? Do I have to set up an email list? Like, all that stuff is going after the get rich easy mindset. You see how this is playing in? Versus the get rich quick, that's believing in what you're doing now because it's gonna pay off later. So be willing to put in the work over here and don't take on this mindset of get rich easy. To illustrate the next 2 points, I want to tell you a story that he talks about in this book. An Egyptian pharaoh summons his 2 young nephews, Chuma and Arzur, and he commissions them to a majestic task: build 2 monumental pyramids as a tribute to Egypt. Upon completion of each nephew's pyramid, Pharaoh promises immediate lavish retirement and all the riches they could want. Both Chuma and Arzur, who are 18, know that this is a huge task and it'll take pretty much a lifetime. Arzur gets to work straight away. He even gets a trainer because these rocks are so strong and he needs to stack them. He goes on stacking the foundation. In about a month, he's got a pretty good one going. But when you look at Chuma's pyramid, his land is empty. Arzur is leagues ahead of him. Confused, Arzur visits Chuma's house and finds him working on this big elaborate contraption that looks like a torture device. He says, "Chuma, what are you doing? Don't you know that our goal is to work on a pyramid?" Chuma responds with a smile and says, "I am working on my pyramid." Arzur continues to labor at his pyramid every single day, but the rocks get heavier and heavier as the foundation starts getting closer towards the top. He needs more muscle to lift them. So he hires a trainer and gets bigger muscles so he can lift more and more stones. Chuma, on the other hand, is still not to be seen. He's still in his house and his land is still barren. Then, one day, 20 years later, Chuma rolls this big machine out and starts picking up the rocks and laying them down. The machine's doing all the work for him. All he has to do is crank the lever and put the stone where he wants. Arzur, on the other hand, is still struggling, still training, still using manual labor to build his pyramid. And in a matter of 3 years, Chuma's pyramid is complete and he reaps the rewards for 20 years to come. Now he can relax. Now he can take time and go on the beach. Now he can surf the Mediterranean. Now he can do whatever he wants because his work is done and he now has the riches. Now I love that story. What that illustrates is that so many of us are trying to muscle our way. And this is the slow lane mentality that save 10% of everything you make for 40 years and you'll be rich, right? Get a job with good benefit. All this stuff over here, go to school for 20 years, work for 40, and then retire for 20, the best years of your life. That's the slow lane mentality. The fast lane mentality is building contraptions to build your pyramid for you so you don't have to muscle your way there. These contraptions are businesses, passive income, assets, things that put money in your pocket that do the work for you. This is the fast lane, and that's what the book's about. How do you build these contraptions over here so that you don't have to muscle your way to success? It's not saying it's not going to be work. In fact, I think it's Abraham Lincoln has the quote along the lines of, if I had 7 hours to chop down the tree, I'd spend 6 of them sharpening the saw. Stephen Covey tells that story in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Pretty much similar morals there of one person going to work, chopping down a tree nonstop, and Abraham Lincoln's just sharpening his saw over here. But then, with the sharper saw, easier to cut down the tree. So for you, it's gonna require a lot of mental work to figure out that contraption device like Chumo was doing in his hut for 20 years. Then at the end, his pyramid almost built itself. Big idea number 4, don't wait. This is something that's probably somewhere in the book, I'm not sure where, but something I felt I needed to include in this video. I would be doing a disservice if I said this slow lane doesn't have any benefits and only pursue fast lane. Not at all. In fact, I think a lot of people, this is great, right? It's great to have a job that's 9 to 5 without the stress of building a business. It's great to have healthcare paid for and you don't have to worry about that. It's great to have a 401k. It's great to have benefits. It's great to not have to worry about if next month you're gonna feast or famine. And that's all the risk over here with the fast lane. This is super, super risky, and there's a huge risk that it's not gonna pan out one day. So I just wanted to say, if the slow lane is for you, and I know that's kind of negative, right? Slow lane, like, oh, I don't want to take the slow lane. This has a lot of merits over here, and you can do both, okay? You can have some benefits of the slow lane while building systems in the fast lane. This is something that I did. I tried to go full-time with this fast lane thing a couple of years ago, and it didn't work. I didn't have the fast lane systems that were strong enough set in place. My mindset wasn't right. My skills weren't good enough. I wasn't filling a need as good as I am now. So I had to take another part-time job, and it was this part-time job that freed up my mental stress levels that allowed me to pursue this fast lane stuff over here. Sometimes having a part-time job is one of the best things you can do, and a lot of people who comment or send video or send emails or direct messages, they're like, Clark, what should I do? I'm broke. I need to start a business. And I'm like, no, do not start a business if you're broke. Go get a job, and then you use that money to get food on your table, to pay for your kids' clothing, to not have to stress 24/7. You use that income to cover your bases, and then in your free time, you work over here on the passive income side. Is this making sense? Do not try to wring this over here for everything it's got when it doesn't have anything to give. It's like trying to squeeze juice out of a pulped orange. It doesn't have any juice to give. Instead, go find another tree, or even plant the tree. That's gonna take years to pay off, but it's gonna be worth it. So I just had to put that in there because I think a lot of people go into it with the unrealistic expectation that this is going to replace my job if I quit immediately, when in reality, this takes years to build. Both of these have their ups and downs. It's just a matter of what are you willing to risk. So we went over the slow lane, we went over the fast lane, we went over building pyramids, building systems. How do you actually do it? What should your business or fast lane fall into? NEXT is the acronym we're going to use for the next 4 points. Starting with N, this is the commandment of need. The best business advice I heard was it is much better to fill a demand than it is to try and create a demand. Let me say that again because it's so powerful. If you want to be in business, you have to fill a demand instead of trying to create one. Think about the most successful businesses and the demands they're filling. Uber filled the demand that the taxi system was kind of messed up and it took too long, or it was uncomfortable, or it was stiff, or you couldn't get them when you needed to, or there was all this haggling. Instagram filled the need that Facebook was too busy, or Twitter was all text and it was cumbersome and chaotic, and we just want pictures or videos. Any food product you eat consistently fills a demand that it tastes good, or you need that condiment for your burger. Celebrities, they feel the need, they satisfy the need for entertainment, to live vicariously through their lifestyle that's attractive. Whatever it is, at some level it's filling a need, and that's the way you get successful. Now, in general, there's 3 golden markets, and this might be an oversimplification, but I kind of agree with it. You know, being in business for a while now, and internet marketing, and like piecing together what makes something successful, you start to notice trends. So here are the 3 markets. Health. This is a great market. There's gonna be, you know, 66% of Americans are overweight or obese. There's a huge market for this. You got, take your pick, and you know, market it however you want. Paleo, vegan, gluten-free, anti-inflammatory. You know, there's so many different ways to package that, but health is always there. Next is wealth. So this is what this book is. This book falls into the category of wealth. Passive income, make money online, affiliate marketing, Shopify drop shipping, Amazon FBA, all that stuff here. And the third one is relationships. People are always going to have that need for advice with relationships, or how to handle those situations. You know, men, how to get more dates. Women, how to get more quality guys, or whatever. So those are kind of the golden 3 markets that always have a need in them. Point number 6, this is entry. E. If everyone is starting the same business, you should probably not start that business, because it's going to violate the commandment of need, right? So if the barrier to entry is really, really low, then you're going to get a lot of competition, and it's going to be harder to stand out. For example, with Kindle publishing, okay, you can't really make more than a couple $1,000s a month without going balls to the walls, you know, crazy amounts of outsourcing, or I've never done it personally. I've gotten a couple $100s a month on that, but I've never scaled to the point of I'm over $1,000 a month. Just haven't. And I don't have as many books as a lot of people, but I've heard from people who publish tons and tons of books, kind of 10K is the ceiling there. Now, why is that? It's because it's easier to get a ghostwriter to publish an ebook for you on Amazon. It's easier to get a Fiverr cover that costs $15. You know, you're looking at, I don't know, maybe $100 when it's all said and done to put up a little ebook on Amazon. The barrier to entry is very low. Now compare that to something where you're running Facebook ads, okay, and you have an online course, or you have your own product. Well, the barrier to entry to create an online course, think about that. You need specific knowledge in an area. You need an audience to sell it to. You need the skills, the technical stuff of how to build the platforms, how to build things. So the barrier to entry is very high, and it weeds out a lot of the bottom feeders. And so you can make a lot more money there. And when you look at a lot of 7-figure online marketers, what do they have? Oh, an online course. What's my next product gonna be on? Probably how to create an online course. The quote in the book I love is that if you're in a gold rush, don't go digging for gold, sell shovels. Okay, so don't always go to where people are flocking. Try and fill a demand within where they're flocking. Hopefully that sparks an idea in your mind. Point number 7, this is X. And I was listening to the audiobook of this, so I didn't read in the physical book, but I think it stands for control. So C, X, whatever, let's just roll with it. The point here is that if you're not driving, who is? Are you a driver, are you a passenger, or are you a hitchhiker? Those are kind of the 3 tiers he talks about in this book. And to make a long story short, you always want to try and drive as much as possible. Driving is where you have ultimate control over the future, control over your direction, control over your speed. For example, with YouTube, you know, I'm not really the driver of this. I'm more of a passenger, because this is YouTube's platform right here, right? They're in control of their algorithms. They're in control of who sees my videos, who doesn't see my videos. All I can do is be like the best passenger I can, and, you know, buy them something at the gas station when we stop for a rest stop, and like try and be this like pleasant ride. All I can do is upload videos consistently, engage with subscribers, but ultimately this is Google's platform. This is their ride. This is their vehicle. Now, where am I a driver? I have an email list. Okay, so I've been building an email list over time. That is my traffic that I control. Having a blog is something you control. Having a membership site is something you control. What you don't control are some of the other platforms. Now, this isn't always bad, right? Because you need some of these sprinkled in to convert the traffic that you control. But what it's saying is that it's riskier, right? Because all it takes is for YouTube to click one button, and poof, this channel is gone overnight. That's a big reality you have to face. Back a couple years ago, was it the Google slap they were talking about were people who had these niche sites, so all about like Canon EOS cameras, and they had this whole site that was like Canon EOS cameras, the best camera to buy, here's where to buy it, and they'd put all this info there with affiliate links or products, and it would rank really high because the SEO was so good on that little site, right? That if this whole site was just about Canon EOS cameras, well, it's easier for Google to rank that at the top. And so people started abusing the system, and so they just started stuffing their articles with keywords, or they just started making these little micro sites to rank them at the top and make tons and tons of money, and it worked. Then overnight, Google came out with an algorithm change. It's referred to as the slap, where they slap everyone for doing that, and overnight people started losing tens of thousands of dollars. Their businesses were no longer making. So what worked doesn't always work. And the point of this is you never want to be at the mercy of someone else. You never want all your eggs in someone else's basket. You want to take that in and you want to control it as much as possible. Point number 8, this is T, stands for time. This is the 4th commandment in the next formula. Commandment of time is something you probably already know, right? It's passive income. Instead of 40 hours a week, you're getting 168 hours a week, 24/7, 365. The goal with time is to free yourself from the day-to-day ins and outs of a business. If you can't remove yourself from your business, you don't have a business, you have a job. And this is something, to be perfectly honest, I think in the startup phase, you have to be more present, right? Because you don't always have capital or money to invest to hire other people, right? And so you end up doing everything yourself. You know, in the early days, I was doing all my customer support. I was doing all my email sequencing. I was doing all my editing, all my thumbnails, all my descriptions, all my everything. And I still do a lot of that. But my goal has been, as my revenues increased because of all that hard work, that initial startup phase, right? Bootstrapping it. Now I can bring people in and kind of free myself up from time. This is the goal. And then over time, ideally, as you get more and more money, right? And you can kind of buy your time back more and more and more, then you focus on like these top 5% of tasks that only you and you only can do. So for me, that would be producing content, right? Because I'm the face of this brand with Refusing to Settle. Now, I'm not saying I will never have other people on here, but it makes the most sense because no one else can really create videos and connect with the thing we've built over here. So that falls into the 5% task versus uploading videos or designing thumbnails or, you know, optimizing stuff. That's not like 5% tasks right there, or editing. So it's a good thing to think about that as you make more money, start buying more and more time back. And then the ultimate goal is to have a business that can run without you when you're removed from it. Big idea number 9, this is educates. Now, slow lane mentality says, I graduated from university, I no longer need to learn, or I need credentials to learn, or, you know, I got a high school diploma, so whew, graduation's done. You know, mail it in, glad I passed that, I can stop learning now and relax. Fast lane mentality says, the more I learn, the more I earn. That readers are leaders, that the more books you take in, it's like you're downloading information to your mind. Your mind is a computer, and when you run these algorithms and just download all this information in there, I mean, you're such a more powerful entrepreneur, you're a more powerful person, and you're just a better person the more you learn. Continuing education. And here's the thing I realized. I used to try and get everything for free. I think in my 20s, and that was being post-college and just dirt broke, right? I would try and find everything for free online. But what really took off is when I started pulling out my wallet, I started paying for information. And this is where things transformed for me, because when you buy something that someone's made, it's packaged for you. It's all the work and guesswork has been taken out for you, essentially. When you buy someone's course, they did all the research for you. You just buy this, you get their experience and packaged information. So I've started investing tons of money into online courses, and I can tell you that that has been the best thing I've done in my business. More than YouTube videos, more than books, more than audio programs, just online courses. And yes, this is speaking from someone who has online courses himself, because I believe that model is so great for both learning and for both business and just for everything in general. I just think you're able to fill so many demands, and you're able to give back, you're able to learn, you're able to grow. I mean, last night, it was a $600 course I bought, and I stayed up till midnight just learning stuff through it. And I know that time investment and that money investment I'm gonna make both those back if it pays off. So many courses I've taken, I've made my money back on 2-3 times more. So that separates the mindset of a slow laner. They say that, oh, I don't want to pay for a course because that's taking money out of my pocket and I can learn this stuff for free. Okay, well, have fun with that, you know? Like, I tried doing that and didn't really get anywhere. And the fast laner says, hey, let me take these shortcuts. If someone's already done what I wanted to do and they're offering a course where I can just pay them, it's already packaged for me. All I can do is just tap into it and educate myself, learn new things and save time, and I'll make my money back if I apply it. Sign me up. So I just wanted to put that in there for education because it's so important. Whether you buy my course, you don't buy my course, I don't really care right now. I'm just putting this in there because I want you to buy other people's courses. Just invest in yourself, invest in your education. That's gonna get you really far. The last point is on choices. There's a huge section in this book about how to make tough decisions using the weighted average decision-making tool. We don't have time in this video to go over that. That could be a whole other video on its own. It's pretty much where you rank order all the factors of a tough choice and you rank them 1 to 10, you multiply it and you get some number at the end that tells you what's a good decision and what's a bad one. So I just want to put this in there because if you do get this book, that was one of my favorite parts of it. There you go. Those are the 10 best ideas from the Millionaire Fastlane MJ DeMarco. If you like this, comment down below with your best idea if you've read this book yourself. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment down below and let us know. Whatever you want to do, whether it's start a business, whether it's grow an existing one, you need one thing. You need customers, right? So one of my favorite ways to get customers or just reach people and develop relationships so they know, like, and trust you is what you're seeing right now. YouTube videos. I think this is one of the greatest ways to do that because the only thing that separates you from talking to thousands of people or millions of people is a little red button that you hit and talk to the world. That's it. It can even be on your phone. So if you want to jumpstart on that, if you want to start talking to people, if you want to know how, and you know, you're a little bogged down by all the tech components of YouTube, or like, well, how do you even get your videos discovered, or I don't know how to talk on camera, that's totally fine. I put together a free little guide, 31 tactics that I've used to grow my YouTube channel from 0 to over 150,000 subscribers at the time of recording. It's 100% free, gets sent straight to your inbox, and it's in the link below. Click it now and download it. I'll also link down the Audible version of the Millionaire Fastlane in the description. I have both the text and the audiobook, and I love that the author reads the audiobook. It just turns it into an audio program. So I'll link down below an affiliate link. If you click it, you get a small little commission for recommending it to you, but it's at no additional cost to you, and you get a free book with your trial of Audible. Go pick this one up for free and try it out yourself. Thanks so much for watching the 10 Best Ideas series. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stop settling, start living. See ya.